Hello, sophomores. I hope you guys had a beautiful week. I especially hope you enjoyed your 4-day weekend. I certainly enjoyed mine. Excuse me. But regardless, I looking forward to seeing you guys today. I'm actually recording this before our meetings, so um, yeah. I hope you guys are doing well. Last time we had the chance to talk, we were talking about Jesus the healer, right? And we were looking into the great healings of Jesus. Jesus, we also say the eternal physician. And we were looking at how every single one of Jesus's healings had to do with more than one thing. That they were first required the faith of the individual who was being healed. In other words, they had to assent, they had to give of themselves for Jesus to be able to heal them. Very often, people who did not have faith, who just wanted a show, Jesus wouldn't do it. Or maybe even couldn't. Now, not as a not have the ability, but it would be against his nature. Um, so, to some degree, faith is an important part of his healings. The other thing we noticed was that every single time he heals, he's teaching us something. He teaches everybody something through that action. We especially looked at the paralytic, right, and how that healing Jesus used to teach about his own Godhead, that he had the power to forgive sins. This week, we want to take a look at something a bit different. We want to take a look at Jesus as the teacher. Now, for me to go through all the things that Jesus taught would be impossible, not a chance. But what I can do is I can focus on some of his teachings that are probably the greatest importance, at least to you in your immediate life. So these teachings are directly related to your life. And they come to this: what do you want out of your life? If I asked you that question, what do you want out of your life? What would you say? Stop and write that down. What would you say you want out of your life? Now, I bet you wrote a great many things. Probably wrote something about your job, or maybe wrote something about your family. But I bet, I'm willing to put my money where my mouth is here. I bet that you said something about wanting to be happy. You see, that's something that we always think. We think of the things that are going to make us happy. But there's a problem in that. And the problem is the things that we think are going to make us happy usually don't. I'm serious. Usually, the things you think will make you happy are not the things that actually make you happy. And that can be a hard pill to swallow because we think we want certain things because they're going to give us some joy or some pleasure. Then that pleasure is going to be so good that it's worth having. But usually, those things are very fleeting and don't give us the happiness that we actually were seeking. So, what is it that actually will make us happy? I mean, if we're completely wrong, then what's the right answer? Just to prove that we're really wrong on this, I want to point something out. One thing I always ask, if you could have anything you wanted right now, what would it be? Very often people will say, I wish I won the lottery or I had tons of money. Well, is that going to make you happy? Really? I bet some of you say yes. And you're not wrong. For a very short time, it will make you happy. But will it make you happy forever? If you say yes to that, I'm afraid you're mistaken. And I have statistics to bear this out. With people who've won the lottery, statistically, are not happier than people who did not. Let me say that again. People who won the lottery, statistically, are not happier than people who did not. So, winning the lottery, odd as it may seem, and even though it seems to go against our mental thoughts, winning the lottery does not give you happiness. What else do you think might give you happiness? We could think of a million different things, and I bet your list was very good. Um, but most of the time, we're wrong. We have a fundamental misunderstanding as to what brings us joy, what makes us actually happy. So Jesus gives us the keys to this happiness. So you want to be happy? I want you to be happy too. This is how you do it. And Jesus's list is not what you're going to expect. It's not going to include acquisition. It's going to be the things that are actually going to bring you happiness, the real joy that you're seeking. You want to be happy every day? You want your life to be full of joy and happiness? These are the things you do. And these things are called the Beatitudes. Now, the Beatitudes, it comes from the word to beatitude is to be blessed. Blessed literally means happiness, right? Happy is. So, for example, when I say blessed are, you could just switch those words with happy are, and you would get the meaning correct. Like that's correct. You will be happy if you do these things. So let's take a look at Jesus's list, and we'll talk about them one by one. Blessed, remember, blessed means happy. Happy are. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Well, what does it mean to be poor? Well, to be poor means to not have a lot of things. Um, yeah, right? What does it mean to have something in spirit? Well, it means in our hearts and minds that we have something in our hearts and minds. So, to be poor in spirit means that in our hearts and minds, we don't care about stuff. We don't see ourselves as owning a bunch of stuff. We're poor in spirit. In other words, Jesus is saying, if you're attached to things, you can't be happy. Happy is the person who is not attached to things. I'm not saying you have to give everything you have away and be poor. I'm saying if that were to happen, it shouldn't affect you too much. In other words, if you lost everything right now, would it be the end of the world? If your answer to that is, nah, not really, wouldn't change my life much at all. I'm pretty much happy with anything. Then you're going to be happy. But if you find yourself to being attached to things, then you're going to find that those things are going to master your life. And you're going to have a great deal of worry and anxiety about those things. That everything that you get attached to is like a little ball and chain that you drag around with you. Blessed are the poor in spirit. Blessed are they who are not attached to things, who are free from things, who can take it or leave it. Right? I often, I was having a conversation with my family at dinner just a couple nights ago, and we were talking about, well, if you had to run out of the house and you could only grab one thing, what would you grab? And I really don't have anything. There's really nothing I would grab. Like there's just nothing. So burn the whole thing down. It doesn't affect me much, right? I'm not terribly affected by things. I mean, I would be sad and I'd be like, oh, well, where am I going to sleep tonight? And I guess we'll have to figure out this whole new situation, but it's not going to break my heart to lose stuff. I just don't care that much, right? That's being poor in spirit, that it really just doesn't affect me. Somebody steals my stuff, so what? It's just stuff, right? Poor in spirit. If you're not attached to things, then you'll find you're going to be happier. Let's look at the next one. Blessed are they who mourn, for they will be comforted. Ooh, let's think about this. To mourn. What does it mean to mourn? Well, you mourn somebody who's died, right? Somebody who's dead. But you only mourn someone who you love, who died. You don't mourn somebody who you don't care about, right? So when we're mourning, we're talking about losing someone that's important to us. And Jesus says, blessed, happy are they who mourn, for they will be comforted. Well, just as a moment ago we said you don't want to be attached to things, Jesus here says we do want to be attached to people. That people are not things. Let me put it this way. There's only one thing that never gets boring. Only one thing that never gets boring. Everything else in your life will get boring. Your phone eventually will get boring. Like after a while, you're like, I can't look at this thing anymore. Watching YouTube videos eventually gets boring. Playing games eventually gets boring. Everything eventually gets boring. Only one thing never gets boring, and that's other people. Other people never get boring. So if you attach yourself to people, if you learn to love people, if you find that you are building relationships and caring about others, then even when they die, even when you're mourning them, you will be happy for them. You'll be happy for knowing them. And not only that, the promise here is that you'll be comforted. If you're the kind of person who cares about people, you're going to have people around you to comfort you when you have that loss. And that will bring you joy. In other words, happiness is found in our relationships. That our relationships with one another and with God, with all the other persons in our life. Now, persons aren't just human persons. We also have angels, and God himself is a person, 3 persons even. But our relationship with persons, that will make us happy, right? So look at your relationships. Do you care about relationships? Do you try and build those relationships? Are you putting your heart and thoughts and minds and souls into your relationships? Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the land. This one seems so antithetical. I don't know about you, but when I think about myself, I often think about myself in prideful ways, right? Like, oh, I want to be king of the universe, I want to be the big top dog. I want to be. But blessed are they who don't care much about themselves, who are meek, who are calm, and who aren't all about me. They're all about other people. Blessed are they. Because when I'm always worried about me, well, then every time anything happens to me, it feels like a slight. It feels like I'm buried. It feels like no people aren't recognizing what I'm worth or whatever. But if I'm meek and I don't see myself as being all that important, then every time somebody's nice to me, well, geez, that's just so nice of them to be nice to somebody small like me. People who are meek are happier than people who are prideful. People who are humble, people who are calm and don't put on airs and are honest about who they are and their faults and their mistakes and all the things that aren't perfect about them. Blessed are the meek. Blessed are they who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be satisfied. Happy is the person who cares deeply, hungers and thirsts, deeply cares about doing good, about being as good a person as they can be. Happy are they who are really serious about that. Like they really want to just be good. They want to seek good things. They want to see good things. They want to hear good things. They want to read good things. They want to be a good thing. When blessed are they who hunger and thirst for what is right and true and good and beautiful. And what do you get? Because they will find it. They will be satisfied. They will find the goodness that they seek. You know, if you look for sadness and brokenness, you can find it. It's everywhere. But if you're looking for goodness, you find that too because it's everywhere. And if you find looking and seeking it in your own heart and mind and soul, then you create more of it everywhere you go, of the true, the good, and the beautiful. This will make you happy, very happy. I promise you, nothing is as powerful as seeking the good for you to become full of joy and laughter and happiness, because there is so much more good out there than there is anything bad. So seek it. Seek it with your whole heart and mind, in yourself and in your own heart and your actions, but also in the world, and you will find happiness. Blessed are the merciful, for they will be shown mercy. Merciful. So what does it mean if you're merciful? It means somebody did you wrong. It's hard to think of happiness and being done wrong in the same thing. Usually that's what makes us feel worse. The worst thing that could be is when somebody hurts us. But God tells us, blessed are you when you're merciful towards the people that hurt you. When you show mercy. Because at the end of the day, mercy is a form of love. In fact, it's like the other side of love. If love is a coin, right? Mercy, goodwill towards the other, that's one side of the coin. That's like charity. But the other side of the coin is mercy. When somebody's hurt you, for you to forgive. That's the loving and most powerful thing you can do. It's the very thing that parents do for their children. Kids screw up everything, but parents are merciful. They're like, it's okay. It's all right. I love you anyway. And I'll take care of you anyway because I love you. And that's all. Right? That's the other side. So love without mercy is not love. It's not love. It's missing. It's like a half of love. So we're called to be merciful. And here's the problem. You and I, we sin. We make terrible mistakes. We hurt other people. We do bad things. Well, notice the blessing here. Blessed are the merciful, for they will have mercy. In other words, God will be merciful to us if we're merciful to others. God will show us that side of his love if we show others that side of our love. It's the same thing as we say in our Lord's Prayer. Forgive us this day our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. In the exact same way that we forgive others, that's the way we want God to forgive us. So my suggestion, if you want to be forgiven fully, wholeheartedly for every wrong thing you've ever done, then you have to be the kind of person that will forgive everything that anyone ever does. And the more forgiving you become, the more like God you become. And that will bring you great joy. Blessed are the clean of heart, for they shall see God. Clean of heart. What does it mean to be clean of heart? Well, it means to have good intentions, to be doing things for the right reasons, right? Clean of heart has to do with purity, right? That my intentions and my thoughts and my actions towards you are exactly what I say they are. They're pure. In other words, if I say that I love you, that I mean it. I'm not holding anything back. I'm totally transparent. I'm just saying exactly what I really am. I'm clean of heart. Blessed are they who are clean of heart, for they shall see God. In other words, don't allow there to be masks. Be open and be clean. Be exactly what you really are. And if you're already trying to be good, then that's going to be a pure thing, right? Don't be afraid of that. Don't try and hide that. Just be it. Be everything that God has called you to be, and be to the fullest that you can, right? Keeping the best intentions for everyone that you meet. Man, you can't not be happy with that kind of attitude. When you're so comfortable with yourself and your faults and your mistakes that you're just able to be open and clean with everyone. Joy is what that looks like. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. My goodness, we live in a world that is full of war of words and wars of ideas, and physical wars too. There are riots in the streets. There's so much fighting. Blessed are they who bring peace. Blessed are they who work towards trying to have everyone come together to find the joy that they really are seeking. They will what's the promise? They will be called children of God. So when you see people fighting, when you see people in arguments, be the one who ends it. Be the one who fixes it. And when people try to argue against you, let it go. Be merciful, let it go. Be the one who brings peace, and you'll be happy. Blessed are they who are persecuted. Well, this doesn't sound good. Blessed are they who are persecuted for the sake of righteousness, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Well, being persecuted, that's somebody attacking you. That doesn't sound like something happy. How can you be happy if people are attacking you, if people are trying to hurt you? But here's the thing. If they're trying to attack you, and you're the one doing the good, right thing, then you're suffering for the goodness. It's an odd reality. But when you suffer for the right things, it's not suffering anymore. When people hurt you and for doing good, it might bother you. I understand that, but it doesn't hurt the same way. For example, there are many people who want some. There's so many stories of the great martyrs, people who are being killed because of the goodness that they've done in their life, because they've helped too many people and people don't like it. And they sing songs as they go to the chopping block. I mean, they it's weird, but something about being willing to be the one who will bear the truth no matter what, even if it's hard, even when the chips are down, and even when people are making fun of you and laughing at you, doing the right, good, true thing anyway. There's something in your heart that changes, and you can just feel the beauty of it. And this is Jesus' list for happiness. Do you want to be happy? Do those things. I guarantee, 100% guarantee, if you do those things, you will have happiness. True, deep, lasting happiness for as long as you do them. And nothing else will do it. Nothing else. The Beatitudes. I encourage you to really get to know them. If you want to get to read them yourself and really pay attention, because happiness is important, if you really want to know them, you'll find them in the 5th chapter of Matthew. All right. God bless you. Have a beautiful week.